Hey everybody, welcome to our indie buffet. This is our project for the last day or two, and I'll tell you what's going on with it. And this video will not be the only source for it, for you to go back and double check what we have. I'm going to include a link in the post. We actually have a page up on our website right now with all the different ones that are listed. So basically, most of these are these image firsts. These are reprints of the first issue of a lot of Image's most popular series. We have a couple of things in here that are a little bit different, like we still have 10 billion issues of Star Wars #1. But Image Buffet. So basically, for $5, you get 5 of the floppies of the comics of your choosing, and then you also get one of these Vertigo sampler books, which also have 5 first issue. Oops, this case 6. 5, 2, 6. How much is in this one? That one has 5. This one has 7. All right, so a lot of first issues of stuff for you to try, both some old Vertigo classics and more recent Image things. And then also we have some bundles. These are the first 2 volumes of most of these most Image series, and you can buy them together for $10. So Black Magic Volume 1 and 2 for $10. Black Science Volume 1 and 2 for $10, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so in case you read one of these and you like it and you want to read more, we have some of the graphic novels over here, and then we also have some of this other stuff in the store and in the trading post as well. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour. Mike organized these. I'm assuming he put these both together because they're by Jason Aaron. I'm just going to roll with it. Let's see here. Okay, so starting off with Goddamned. Love this book. It's excellent. I think I have a couple of the trade papers. This is a totally self-contained story, which is really nice about it. It's a 4-issue miniseries. I usually recommend this to fans of like Conan. It has to do with Cain and Abel, or Cain specifically. It's basically like pre-flood Bible stories done in like a violent, almost like Italian spaghetti western style. And it has a very like I just keep going back to Conan. It's kind of like Mad Max, but more Stone Age than that. No guns or anything like that. Anyway, I really enjoyed the series. This is the same creative team that had Scalped. And then on that Scalped tip, if you enjoy Scalped, Southern Bastards is a deep fried noir by Jason Aaron and Jason Latour. Also, if you're into football, this is a really big football thing. It's small town corruption, small town crime, but the small town is really big on football. Lazarus I actually haven't read yet, but people that have read it really, really enjoy it. This is sort of a post-apocalyptic science fiction story. I do need to read it at some point. This is written by Greg Rucka, who did Stumptown and Queen and Country and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah. Okay. We got Velvet, which is by Brubaker and Epting. This is the writer of Criminal and Fatale and Fade Out and Kill or Be Killed and a lot of other things. This time he's working with Steve Epting, who probably most famously drew a lot of the Bucky Reborn Fantastic Four stuff that influenced things like The Winter Soldier. This is sort of... actually, I have not read Velvet, but this is spy stuff. So I think he mentioned it as like his Girl Friday. What did he use to describe this? I can't remember. I think it's too easy to say it's James Bond, but if you're into more Captain America style stuff, if you're into more of that Winter Soldier stuff, I definitely think Velvet's a good spot for that. Another book by Greg Rucka. This one I did read a couple of issues of. It is a supernatural noir having to do with witches and magic in addition to police work and procedural stuff. We have Nailbiter, which is a serial killer comic. There's a town somewhere in Oregon, I believe, that seemingly every serial killer has come from for the last like however many years. And that's where the story kind of starts. And this has been a very popular series. I'm not talking eloquently about it because it's another series that I have not read yet. This one I had you guys asked to vote which one I should read last night, but I ended up reading Man or Black rather than Ice Cream Man. So I think somewhat of an anthology format. This is supposed to get turned into a TV show. Kind of more, again, like creepy stuff. Not all the way horror, but certainly not as... this cover is, I think, belying its more disturbing nature. I need to go faster. I'm already 5 minutes. Okay, we got Gideon Falls, Hack Slash, Redneck. I do really enjoy this series. It's another deep fried horror book. Vampires in Texas. Manifest Destiny, super cool book about Lois and Clark expedition, except with monsters. Birthright is another kind of urban fantasy meets Conan kind of style thing. We got classic superhero indie book Invincible, another one Spawn. Copra's a lot of fun. This is a artist out of Brooklyn that's just like going off. If you're into stuff like Suicide Squad, Copra's really cool. Seven to Eternity, dark fantasy series by recommender Jeremy Pena. Black Science, basically lost in space but dimensions, so sliders if it's a whole family and they can't get back home. Deadly Class got turned a TV show and already got canceled. Harry Potter, but for assassins. Wow, I am pumping them out. Fear Agent is like Space Trucker. Buck Rogers, if he had a substance abuse problem. Low is another science fiction book by Remender. This is underwater science fiction. Think Tank, I have not read anything by Matt Hawkins yet. Any of these classics, but Matt Hawkins definitely has his fan. Saga needs no introduction, but if you're one of the few that haven't been initiated, that's Star Wars for adults. It's the best-selling book for good reason. Descender is space opera with a focus on robots, fans for AI, Star Wars, things like that. Speaking of Star Wars, this is the first issue of the new series, and it takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It picks up right where Empire left off. Headlopper is another fun one for Conan fans. Sword and Sworcery, the really cool art style by Greg McLean. I Kill Giants, first issue of one of my favorite miniseries from the last 20 years. Yeah, you know what? I did a whole video on this on YouTube. I'll just post the link to that. That'll explain the book a lot better than I can right now. Sex Criminals is a book about a girl who finds out that every time she has an orgasm, she can stop time for 15 minutes. She meets another guy that can do the same thing when they're both adults, and they decide to rob banks. And you can use your imagination on that one. Moonshine is Prohibition era werewolves. Street Angel is the scrappy, fun indie book by Mr. Rugg, who does cartoonist kayfabe with a Piscore on YouTube. You may have already be fans with that. Fatale and Kill or Be Killed and Fade Out, all by Brubaker and Sean Phillips. These guys are the most popular crime team in comic books. If you like crime stuff and you've never checked them out before, these are all good options. Fatale is sort of crime horror. Kill or Be Killed is kind of a vigilante crime book. And Fade Out is a classic golden age of Hollywood murder mystery. The Fix, I really enjoyed this book when it was coming out. I don't know if it's still coming out. But basically, if you're a Shane Black fan, check out The Fix. So if you like stuff like The Nice Guys or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, highly recommend The Fix. Very funny. Pretty Deadly was a very, very, very popular dark fantasy series, Western. It came out a while ago, and it's kind of come out sporadically. But they're actually have the third volume of the paperbacks just finally came out. Oh, I need to get under 10 minutes. Bitch Planet by the same writer, Kelly Sue DeConnick, is science fiction satire. Basically a prison planet where they put unruly women, and then they do sort of rollerball style shenanigan competitions, football things. Monstrous, definitely one of the most popular Image series in a long time. I'm running out of time. Wicked and Divine, Snot Girl, and the writer Scott Pilgrim, Moonstruck, Isola, beautiful fantasy book, and Sunstone for Ooh La La. Okay, I'm going to have to make a second video about the graphic novels. I will see you in that video.